Welcome back to Thirsty Thursday with Angie. Today I'm going to talk about two wine from a tiny California wine producer. These are my favorite type of wine to review and talk about because it's just so rare and you usually see so much heart and there's always a good story behind it. So these are the Ogden Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. The winemaker here is Ogden, and he's been actually in the Napa region since 1986. But for the last 30 plus years, he's pretty much been working behind the scene, most of the time just helping other Napa wineries develop their properties. And it took him a while before he actually found his perfect property to produce this two wine, which we have the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir. Both of them are single vineyard. So the Chardonnay we have here is a 2020 vintage. This is 100% from the John Muir Hana Vineyard. For those of you who might be familiar, this might be a test question. This is the same vineyard where the Chateau Montelena made their world famous Chardonnay that beat out all the French white Burgundy in the Judgment of Paris. Very excited to try this wine out. Let's give it a go. So this wine does see 100% new French oak, but only for 14 months, so it's nothing too excessive. Classic style Napa Chardonnay with no residual sugar, let's hope not. And it's made with the Venti clone. Other thing that I really want to point out is over here, I don't know if you can see it, 13.7% alcohol, which is leading me to believe that he's trying to achieve a more balanced or more elegant style of Chardonnay. Let's taste it. I'm probably going to come back to it in a little bit because I feel like the wine is still a little cold. For those of you who have been tasting with me for a while, you probably have heard me say that you do not want your white wine to be way too cold. This bottle has been out of the fridge for the last 5 minutes, but I can just tell by the touch of my hand that the wine is a little bit too cold right now. Well, let's test out how cold the bottle actually is. I'll pour just a little bit more. And use thermometer. Yeah, look at this. 47 degrees. You do not want your white wine in that temperature. What happens at this temperature is that all the fruits are very close off and you're just getting a very sharp, lean, citrusy taste to the wine. This is also my theory why some people really like the big, full, buttery style Chardonnay. That's because a lot of people like to drink their wine really cold. And when the wine is at this temperature, right off the fridge, you can't really taste any of the fruitiness in the wine. So in order to compensate, you need to find a bottle of wine that has an excessive amount of fruits and oak and butteriness in order to still taste that in a wine this cold. So we're gonna set this aside and get back to it in a little bit. We're gonna jump to his Rio Del Mar single vineyard Pinot Noir from the Santa Cruz Mountain area. This vineyard is extremely close to the coastline, so it's a very extreme condition vineyard. Comes with its own advantage and disadvantage, of course. Once again, if you flip to the back, alcohol percentage at about 13.7%. So I am going to assume he is making a wine in the more elegant and conservative style. Let's taste. All right, the color is a bright red ruby color. It's not super duper concentrated. I would probably call this a bright wine, a medium concentration. There is a little bit of watery edge to the rim. The wine is a 2019 vintage, so it is a relatively young and useful wine. On the nose, the wine is useful. It is medium in intensity. The wine smells extremely balanced. It is mostly fruit driven, but it's not over the top. It's got a medium overall feel to it. It's very actually elegant, like what the winemaker has described in his own wine text sheet. It's got a little soft red cherry, red little strawberry mountain rose. Very pretty, it's not over the top, really balanced. Nothing is out of place on the nose. Let's try it. And by the way, you do want to swish that wine in your mouth in order to get the wine to touch every single taste bud on your tongue, in the interior of your mouth to get the maximum flavor everywhere you can. On the palate, the wine's got a lot of baking spices. All the fruits is confirming in the nose. We got a strawberry, cherry, rose petal. The wine actually has kind of a savory taste to it. It's not sweet, it's not oaky, it is very elegant, but it's very well balanced. Generally, what I'm always afraid of from Pinot Noir from the Santa Cruz Mountain region is that they might be too lean or too green. I'm not getting that in this wine at all. It's got good acid, but it's very well balanced with the fruit characteristic. The finish is very satisfying. It's got like a medium plus bone finish as well. I can see this wine drinking very well on its own or pair really good with some pork dishes. It's got that weighty umami aftertaste weighing down the bottom of my tongue. That's very satisfying. Got that fullness there near the end that balances out with kind of the good acidity in the front. It's a very cool wine. Kind of rides on the edge of wanting to be old world almost because it's not predominantly food driven. It does have a 92 point from Wine Spectator, which I get because it is a very well-made wine. He might be a newer, smaller winemaker on the scene, but he definitely had the experience and he understands the land and he understands where to plant the grapes to get a very unique characteristic out of the grape and into the wine. He has also worked with very famous winemaker like Thomas River Brown, so he really knows what he's doing. There's only 125 cases of the Pinot Noir he made of this 2019 vintage. It's quite delicious, going for $80 a bottle. I can see again with the elevated acidity, this is a wine that you could age for a long time. They also do it with a wax seal. I'll be offering this to my exclusive client while they still are available. All right, let's see if the Chardonnay is back up to 10. Let's see. You can always warm up the white wine with the palm of your hand. Ideally, we want it somewhere between 50 to 55. Still a little bit on the cold side. We're still looking at 51 degrees. But we'll try it and compare to when I first had to open in like the mid 40s and see how it tastes now. Yeah, it's already a completely different wine. Try this at home and nobody, like seriously, the difference between a 47 degree and a 50 degree wine is night and day. So please do not drink your white wine way too cold. Yep, now I'm getting a little more butterscotch, a little bit of vanilla and buttery nose to it because I was like, yeah, 14%, 100% French new oak. You're gonna have to be able to smell it. But when I first stick my nose into it, there was like nothing. It was like lean and sharp and it felt like I'm drinking a Sauvignon Blanc almost. And that's what cold temperature will do to your palate and your sensory when it comes to a white wine. All right, very elegant. Sound ripe mixed with tropical fruit. I'm getting pineapple, very classic California. Ripe Myers lemon skin. There's a lot going on here. Ripe yellow apple. Little hints of banana skin. Very juicy and tropical, but not over the top, not overripe. Whew, my God. Okay, this Chardonnay is really good. Same idea as a Pinot. He definitely makes a more old world driven style of Chard and Pinot. So the Pinot itself on the palate is not weighty, it's not buttery, it doesn't feel like it's sticking to your palate. It finishes very clean and it has a tremendous amount of minerality going down the middle of my tongue and finish in the back of my throat. The wine is just got very kind of that over like rocky chalky taste to it, which I find very attractive. I freaking love it. The savory and the mineral driven palate mixed it with some fruits on the nose. It's a really good best of both worlds in between kind of that New World style and Old World style. I think this wine would go amazing with some chicken food pairing or maybe a heavier fish, a white fish like a grilled swordfish will go really well with this as well. We're gonna try to warm this wine up a little more to see how it tastes when it opens up even more. All right, we warmed it up to about 57 degrees and let's try it now again. The nose is staying consistent with mostly elegant fruits, just right, touch of tropical, but nothing over the top still. And the palate is still bone dry. There is no residual sugar anywhere whatsoever. Lots of good minerality still down the middle of my tongues and a good umami savory finish there at the end. It's still tasting amazing. And here comes the best part. For his Chardonnay, he's only made 30 cases of it for this vintage. They're going for $60 a bottle, which I think both are outstanding. As a summer approach, I probably would love have this Chardonnay as a full wine pairing to go with a lot of my seafood dishes, or if I'm doing any kind of outdoor activities. I think it brings enough brightness so it doesn't feel heavy. The Pinot is delicious as well. Let me have one more sip. Okay, just have 5 minutes more since I opened the wine. There's more floral notes jumping out of the glass. Okay, this Pinot apparently needs a little bit of time to open up. It has been 15 minutes since I opened this bottle and it's a different wine already. Still very savory umami. I love that. It makes me crave a bite of food. Like I want some kind of food in my mouth to balance out like the savoriness of this Pinot. For this Chard, I personally love a more middle German style Chardonnay, so I can drink this one on its own all day, every day. All right, there you have it. Another Thursday where we discover a new small up-and-coming winemaker, and I'll be offering both of those wines for our clients to purchase before they are sold out. Again, we have the Chardonnay. They only make 30 cases of this. This is a single vineyard of the John Muir Hana Vineyard. That's the same vineyard where the fruit for the Chateau Montelena Chardonnay, which beat out all the French white Burgundy, came from. And over on this side, we have the Pinot Noir. Again, another single vineyard from the Rio Del Mar Vineyard in Santa Cruz Mountain. Both of the wines are 13.7% alcohol. This one, they made 125 cases and it's going for $80 a bottle. I hope you enjoyed this tasting. Have you tried the wines? If you do, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel on www.angiesong.com so you don't miss any of the new video or any of the wine offering I have in the future. I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Cheers!